All right. It is 9 o'clock. It is November 1st, All Saints Day. We are at 2230 Walton Way, so there's a chill in the air. This must be good morning.
Good Shepherd.
Well, good morning, everybody. We're glad you have joined us. Glad to be here, first of all, not having any technical difficulties this morning. Don't know if we're up on YouTube or not, but we are up on Facebook. And we're glad to be with you on this All Saints Day. So that's what we'll be talking about here in a minute. Anything we need to report from around the parish, good news, anybody we need to be worried about other than everybody who's here?
I think we just need to keep Waylon Lamar.
Yeah,
Krista
Waylon,
in our
thank
prayers.
you.
Yes.
Excellent. Waylon is doing pretty good. Krista's just takes great care of him. He's such a charming man, and so he's just got a little trip to the hospital. We hope he'll be on the mend soon. Anybody else we're aware of?
Don't think
We
so.
got Cornelia Verdry sent off yesterday at Westover. I hope it was a nice service. I thought it was. I had a meaningful experience there. Cornelia, I live in the house Cornelia's father built. I started by saying, well, y'all, I need to tell you something. Confession's good for the soul. I've been living with Cornelia for 28 years, okay? And all her siblings, of course, and Ethel, they were all there, just such nice people, and Pam, Catherine, Pete, they've all done a good job of looking after Cornelia. So one of our local, very, very local saints has gone on to her ward. She's now in the communion of saints, right? Which is what we're going to talk about today. This being All Saints Day. First of all, yesterday was All Hallows Eve. Today's All Hallows Day, All Hallows Eve, from which we, of course, get Halloween. What a bust, what a bum it was for all the children of the world, except Good Shepherd children. They made out like bandits last night. Because as we've been trying to do ever since March with our children and our families is reaching out to them, staying engaged. We had reverse trick-or-treat last night. So instead of our children going out to trick-or-treat, other adults and young people delivered tricks and treats to them for All Hallows Eve. So wasn't that great? And I think there are a lot of neat pictures out on Facebook and all that. But just one of the many, many reasons you should follow Jesus at Church of the Good Shepherd on Walton Way. All right.
So
what
there
else?
is a reward for following Jesus.
And in the time of this life,
You get a treat.
chocolate, Hershey bars, Heath bars. What could be better than that? I mean, what could make the kingdom of heaven more tangible than a good Heath bar, breaking your crowns or something like that. Putting money in the dentist's pocket.
Yeah. Everybody's got to make a living, though.
Right.
Everybody's got to make a living. Okay, well, it's All Saints Day. So a little quieter today. We'll have in-person worship at 9:30, in-person worship at 11. Our pre-recorded All Saints service is on at 10. We are stepping up. We used, just a little teaser here, we used a green screen. We used a green screen for the first time. So just expanding our technological media toolkit here so that we can continue to deliver as engaging and enjoyable experiences of the Church of the Good Shepherd into your home as we are able. So just might want to tune in this morning and see what that's all about. The green screen. The mean green screen. Okay.
And
well, it's All Saints
don't
Day.
Forget, we have Sunday school at 11 on Zoom.
Thank you.
Yep.
And you just sign in, and Roger will send you to your classroom.
Absolutely.
Bunny, you're teaching this morning.
Right,
I'm
I
teaching
am,
this
yes.
morning, so
Yeah.
sign in and join us.
I mean, none of this wimpy, we don't do Sunday school every Sunday crap anymore at Church of the Good Shepherd. I mean, we are hardcore Sunday school, Christian formation, every Sunday here at Good Shepherd.
We
So
are
that's
here so
one of
you
the
can
gifts.
be here.
We are here, so I love
We
it.
be here, so you
I
be
love
here.
it. We're cranked. We're fired. Okay. So, All Saints Day. It's today.
Yep.
And so I just feel like bursting into song here. It's the most wonderful time of the year. So for me, All Saints Day just sets off, and for me and Andy, I mean, we're pathetic here, but it sets off just the pre-Advent,
Right.
All Saints Tide, Christmas Epiphany cycle, which is it's just an amazing story that Jesus is born as one of us, for us, and it's an amazing, amazing story. So for me, just, you get a little hint in the air. It's moving to Thanksgiving, moving to Advent, moving to Christmas, moving to Epiphanies, just the best time of the year, okay? Andy and I like gray days. It's our Scottish genes, I guess, our melancholy personalities, our nostalgic personalities. We like to go a roaming in the gloaming and stuff like that, as you have heard in many a sermon. Okay, well, Bunny, what do you like about All Saints Day?
Well, I guess it's remembering all of those who have gone on before us. This morning, I was listening to some music on my iPod, and one of the songs was "I'm Waiting for My Real Life to Begin." And I started thinking about that this morning, and the people who have gone on, their real life is beginning.
Yeah.
It's already begun for them.
Yeah.
And so we all do have something to look forward to beyond this time in our life.
We'll make a little philosophical distinction here between actual and real, the categories of actual and real, which you can say describe reality. So there's the actual world. A creed calls it things seen, visible, earth, that we're all very familiar with, actual bread and wine. And then there's the real world. Heaven, things unseen, things invisible. Read an article the other day on knowledge and on how much, since the Reformation, of course, and the Enlightenment, we've diminished any other way of knowing, any intuitive or whatever way of an experience other than just the straight empirical, data-driven way of knowing. So, yes, we are living our actual lives now, and living in the power of the resurrection, and even actually living in the everlasting life that's ours right now. But it is, when we transition over, we begin that real life, that life that is not governed by the laws of physics or thermodynamics, that life that is everlasting, if you can even imagine it, okay?
Yeah, which we can.
It's like trading up with cars. The resurrection of the body is like trading up with cars. You get your car and you like to trade up. Every time you get a new one, you want to get a better one. So this body serves us well in this actual world. We're going to have to get some other kind of vehicle for the real world. But I like that, life. But of course we'd say real life, I just wanted to make that distinction. Okay, All Saints celebrates our participation in the communion of saints. So there's a real fellowship in the church here. The church triumphant in heaven, the church militant here on earth, and we, though we do not see these folks, it does not mean that they do not exist. Though we do not experience them in the actual world and the real world, they are very much with us. So with angels and archangels and all the company of heaven, the communion of saints is a very comforting kind of possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, we have an awareness of them, those who have gone on. Even though they're not here with us right now, we still have that awareness of them.
I think of that especially at the altar rail. When I first came to Good Shepherd, the first time I ever served at the altar, I noticed all these little dimples on the wood floor. Golf cleats. And
golf cleats.
Ladies' heels.
shoes.
High heel shoes.
And
Tore that floor up.
I couldn't help but think many of them are in glory.
Yeah.
They are saints that have been drawn into Jesus' kingdom.
Yeah.
And yet, at that altar rail, we're all one.
That's right. You look at the knee, where the step where the kneelers are, and you can see that wood is scarred and scratched by the toes of all the shoes that have come up there and jammed into there before they knelt, okay? Very much we share in that. And not only that, but they surround us they're
Yes,
with
they do.
us.
Yes.
They are cheering us on. I do like the image of, the great arena or whatever. And as the All Saints hymn says, we feebly struggle, they in glory shine. And so they are cheering us on, run the race, fight the good fight, stay the course, obtain the prize. So I think that's, for me, a couple of things I say just must characterize the Christian life. One of them is the idea of perseverance. You've just got to persevere.
He that shall endure to the end
You
shall
will
be saved.
obtain the prize. Okay, you got to cross the finish line. You can come in great style, or you can come in with the other runners dragging you across. But you got to cross. So perseverance. We'd like to be doing it in high style. High, good, moral, ethical, righteous style. But most of the time we're a little lagging in that. But that's the main thing. Run the race. Got to finish the prize. As somebody said, 80% of success in life is showing up. So same thing's true in the spiritual. You got to persevere, okay? The other thing I think you have to be is realizing that it's beyond us, realizing that we, unlike little Jack Horner, sticking your thumb, pull out a plum, what a good boy am I. We really don't have. There's so much that we have nothing to do with that blesses our lives. And realizing that Jesus has done for us what, the only response to that's got to be gratitude. I'm on this list of virtues now. I got perseverance up there. Now I'm on my second one, which is gratitude. And of course, what we do every Sunday in Eucharist is that's what we're reminded. We need to be a people of thanksgiving, of gratitude. Most of all for what God has done for us in Jesus, and then for all the other ways God blesses us, with our friends and family and the people we're talking about now who we love but see no longer. And then the other thing I think is you got to be humble.
Yeah.
It just ain't, a sinner just ain't got no place to really stand in the judgment world,
Well,
so
I think
you
that is
got to
so-
be humble.
That is so contradictory to the nature of the world, where you earn love, for example.
Yeah,
I have to bring you
Yeah.
flowers, Bunny. I
Right.
have to give you cookies, and rings, and I'm
Well,
I
going to
wish
do
somebody
that.
would.
Have to give it to my
Yeah.
wife. Have to give Roger a
Right.
glass of wine every week, whatever.
Right.
So we earn, but not here.
Yeah. Well,
Not
that's
in this instance.
that meritocracy. Well, that's a very important thing about America. I mean, it's got at its root is a good thing that you can attain something irrespective of who your parents were or their situation. There's no aristocracy here, maybe of accomplishment or achievement.
Right.
So that's very liberating and inspiring and hopeful. You can be whatever we would want to color it. You can be whatever God has called you to be. And go as far as God's grace and your own efforts are able to, and a little bit of luck, quite honestly,
Right.
can carry you. But
Well, and
sometimes that
work.
translates
Hard
into, self-worth and who are you if you hadn't done something big in your life, or something like that. So that we get into this works righteousness stuff pretty easily. We're all Pelagians in the Anglican world. We don't think we're so far gone that surely there's something we can offer that's worthy, or and I'm okay with a little bit of that. I'll concede that, but I'm perfectly happy to admit that to God be the glory.
Right.
Okay, God gets all the credit, all the glory. I'm perfectly happy not to lay claim to one thing that has blessed my life or the way I've been able to bless anybody else's life. I'm perfectly happy for Jesus and God to have all the credit, all the glory about that.
And that goes back to the gratitude part you were talking about a minute ago. I was reading an anecdotal study yesterday, and they were demonstrating. It was a small group of people, but what they noticed was that people who were keeping a gratitude journal. It was an office, and there was a lot of discord and that sort of thing. So they started out telling everyone to keep a gratitude journal every morning. And after that, they were much less disgruntled. People were happier, they got along better, and that sort of thing. So if we start our day counting our blessings and giving God the glory, it puts us on a good road
right.
for the rest
Centered
of the day.
And there's you can be happy. There's a science of happiness, and I can't remember what it is, but I know it's out there. There's a course actually out there on the internet about happiness, science, and all that's looked at it. And so there are very clear and concrete steps you can take to raise your happiness level. And I know that's even extended to the question of money. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a certain amount of money that makes most people happy, okay? So it's about $73,000 of income, I think. If you're over that, we can help you out down here at the Church of the Good Shepherd. If you're way over that, we can help you out. We want you to be happy. I mean, that's the goal of life.
No matter what it costs you, we want you to be happy.
You want to be happy, right?
Well,
and so if you've got
you.
more than $73,000, just call us and we'll help you out, okay? Very good. Okay, the communion of saints. So saints, I'm back to the meritocracy kind of thing, and you know that's a really strong theme, particularly given the strata of society. Most people at Good Shepherd, what they're experiencing. There are a lot of different experiences in America. A lot of people, it's all ethnically, racially, economically stratified in many ways, and people have very different experiences of growing up, even grow up in kind of different kinds of cultures, But most of us at Good Shepherd have grown up in a certain kind of culture, and there is a lot of, well, I guess you call it the old Protestant work ethic, right? Mm-hmm. You need to make something of yourself. Yeah. You need to accomplish something, and so that's true. All these things, of course, there's truth in them, and then you take it too far, and it's not workable anymore. But where I'm trying to get to here on that is the Christian take is just that, is the tension. You ought to, well, we can say it in things like, you ought to work like it depends on you, and you ought to pray like it depends on God. Mm-hmm. And in the tension of that cooperation, that partnership between God and us, miracles or magic or wonder can happen. But it's all in the tension. Mm-hmm. It's all in the tension. Somebody told a story, walked by a fellow's garden and said, "Well, that sure is a nice garden you and the Lord got there, Andy." And the fellow said, "Yeah, you should have seen it last year when the Lord had it all by himself." Okay? So,
that's great.
and that's what God calls us to, is relationship. Yeah. The relational triune God, the God who is, in his own essence, a relationship of mutual, reciprocal love and accountability, invites us into that relationship, into that partnership of mutual, reciprocal love.
And creates us for that invitation.
Made us for it,
well,
absolutely.
I think it's in the collect for Christmas Eve maybe, but it talks about where God joins heaven to earth and earth to heaven. Something we can't do.
Right.
And God steps into our muck.
Yeah.
And says, "I love you. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me be with you, and let me take you home."
With his arms extended.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. Well, every once in a while, we have experiences that we know just aren't in us. I mean, we couldn't make it. We couldn't set out to accomplish that or make it happen. And yet it happens, And so when we have that, that's clearly a sign that God has come our way, that God has come our way. And, it is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes, we say, Okay. Well, now we do have, let's talk about the altar here behind us, okay?
Do I need to move out of the way?
Well, I don't think so, Andy. Roger, why don't you just tell us a little bit about the All Saints altar that's set up here in the Lich Gate? I want to be one too. What does that mean, Roger?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it comes from the
I sing a song of the saints of God. And we just twisted the words a little, why I shouldn't be one too. So we wanted
Why
it to be.
shouldn't I be one too?
Yeah, right. So we just
Why
flipped
should
it.
I be one too? I don't
forget-
think
I
that's
don't know how it
the
goes.
sentiment.
We flipped it a little bit.
Why shouldn't I be one too?
I should be one too is what
I
we're trying to
should
get
be
kids
one
to think
too.
about.
You should, Roger.
There are different things
Get
on here
the stick.
that you can do. There are tea candles you can come and flip on for somebody you want to remember, either a big S saint or a little S saint. There's some.
That's big S saint.
big S.
Yeah, just to,
The letter S.
You know, the enunciation.
Sorry,
is very
my West
important there,
Virginia
Roger.
came through.
Can't be a Southerner and draw on that S.
There you
It
go.
sounds like a
So-
donkey.
We have there's a dinner liturgy for you to take home for tonight to have a feast at home celebrating your saints. There's also some Good Shepherd papers and pens for you to write a prayer to a saint or in memory of someone. You can just stop by today and do any of that. And then of course the altar itself is there. You could leave flowers or greenery or little trinkets or things in memory of people, and we'll leave it up for a little while so that folks can come by as they want to.
Good.
So,
This
it's
is a great place to come and pray.
Yeah, that's it.
This invites you to pray.
Yeah. Well, and the Lich Gate, I mean, so
What a
we've
perfect
got a
place.
conflation of two days in our year. We have All Saints Day on the 1st of November, where we celebrate, you know, our participation in the communion of saints, right? We're all saints. Saints is the word Paul in the New Testament used to describe all the followers of Jesus. And then there are, of course, some, and this is back to the church recognizes that some people have done some on one fine day, like Frederick Buechner so lovingly or wonderfully says, you know, a life with Christ, by Christ, because of Christ, all these Christ, and then on some fine day, just one fine day, a life for Christ. And the capital S saints are the people who in just one shining moment from the Olympics here, one shining moment, did something where that was just made God happy, you know, and they get commended for that. They're all of them flawed people just like we are. And many of them have serious flaws that folks would want to use to discredit even their inclusion in the list of saints, you know. But they are all of them saints of God, and I mean God helping to be one too. So we have All Saints Day, and then we have on November 2nd, All Souls Day. Now that's the day we actually commemorate the faithful departed. But those 2 days just have kind of folded into each other. And so we are celebrating our participants as well as those who have gone on before us and remembering there. So here we are in the Lich Gate. That comes from the German word Leche for corpse. This is our gateway into the churchyard, typically the place where we receive our loved ones for burial. It's an old medieval custom, but this before you had funeral homes and places like that. This is where you brought the body until you went into the church for the service, and then burial in the churchyard. You know, that's a nice sign that when you come to church, you're surrounded by the saints who've gone. It puts you in mind of the shortness and uncertainty of life, and you know that too. So anyway, this is kind of what we've got here as an opportunity to light a little. Love those votives, a little battery-powered votive.
Don't want to set the church
Can't
on
burn
fire.
the Lich Gate down.
What are the hours that this will be here, Roger? What are the hours?
Oh, we're gonna leave it here all day at least. I mean, we haven't talked about when to take it down.
Okay.
So
So
I guess
anytime
repeat
today.
that 'cause they probably can't hear it.
Yeah.
So it'll be here all day, Roger says,
Yeah.
for y'all to come and have a few moments.
Great. All right. I sing a song of the Saints of God. What a great song that is, okay? Just a sweet song.
We have a lot of
Episcopalian
saints
worth their
arriving
salt
for
loves that song, you know?
Lutherans
And,
too.
Huh?
Lutherans too.
Lutherans too, yeah.
Heard it on the
Baptists,
Lutheran
well,
Hour
most
this
of
morning.
us,
I always listen to
Episcopal
Lutheran.
tribe came from some other tribe to get here, so that's all right. All right, what else do we want to say about this day? It's a good thing here. We got some more time left.
I was listening to the Lutheran Hour this morning. I steal great sermon material from the Lutherans. You ought to try that, Robert.
Yeah.
But anyway, a man was talking about the Christian church in Ethiopia, which is one of the oldest branches of the Christian church in the world.
Yeah.
But in the time when the monarchy was overthrown and the socialist communists took over, they sought to bring the church under their rule, and the church wouldn't go. This one man, Archbishop, stood firm, and he later died under torture. But the man was talking about how in the Amharic language of Ethiopia, the term for church means the Jesus place.
The Jesus
Really?
place.
The Jesus
I
place.
like that.
I like that.
So
The
here we
Jesus
are
place.
at the Jesus place, and then think about this: we're living out a modern miracle. You may not be able to personally be here, but through the means
Yeah,
of technology, we
So
are
have
together.
Kind of our own communion.
We have our
of saints
communion right here.
You know, you're with us. We can't see you. Well, they get to go. They get to go on. So I'm going to excuse myself. I got to go back to work.
I don't have to go anywhere. I'm going to be right here.
I'm going to leave you with my last sip of coffee. And
Well, thank
Why
you,
don't
Robert.
take that with you?
a little swill in there.
That
Y'all continue as long as you'd like. And
That
I'll
pro-
go do in-person worship.
that
All
probably
right.
is a
So you
healing
get to
factor.
go where it's warm while we stay out here where it's freezing cold. I will say.
I'm bringing
that.
my fire pit next week.
I got to think too of when you were speaking about that. I see the difference where we are and where the saints who've gone before us are. That there's like a thin veil between us.
Oh, indeed.
And I think that sometimes we move closer to that veil and sometimes we move farther off. You see that a lot when people are in the last days of their lives, and the family will tell you that sometimes they look like they're far away, or they're pointing to something, or calling somebody's name. And at those times I feel like they are getting closer to the veil, and then they come back and they go back again.
I think you're right. And you and I, as ministers, as priests, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I bet you have, where you've been with somebody very near death, and they see something we don't see. Now that is an awesome experience.
Yes.
They're getting a glimpse. They're getting the full view of glory, probably in just a few minutes, or maybe a few seconds. I've had people die under my thumb as I anointed them for death, time of death. That is an awesome experience to see people leave. And if you leave, you go somewhere.
Right, and when my own husband was dying, I could remember he had a hospital bed in there, and I was laid on the bed with the children were gathered around, and I remember him point. It was obvious that he saw something, and we were all looking. Of course, we saw nothing, but it was obvious that he saw something or someone, and possibly that person was calling him to come on.
Could be.
Whether it was Jesus or a loved one who had gone on before.
Yep.
That's one of the things that keeps me, gives me hope, is that I know that one day I will see the people who I love, my beloved brother. You know, these are people I will see.
And that gives you hope. It also gives you strength.
Right.
That I can get through this because I have as John Claypool said, I have an investment in heaven. When his young daughter died of leukemia, he said, for the first time in my life, I had an investment in heaven. And he said, I fear death no more.
Well, that's beautiful.
So that is a powerful, powerful statement. When I go to the cemetery, my mother and father's graves, grandparents, whatever, I do not feel close to them because they're not there.
Right.
I do it out of honor. I'm a good German. Ordnung, everything's ordered. You have to do it this way. But I don't feel them there. I look up at the sky and I feel them there, but not here. Don't feel them there. And that's actually a good feeling. I'm glad I have that feeling.
I've never felt, to me, it's the same thing. That's just a place where the burial took place. I agree. Matter of fact, I've never been to my brother's grave. My husband was buried right out here, but I don't stop. Or, of course, there's bushes up so big you couldn't see it anyway. But
might be something in there.
but they do. Our loved ones do go on.
Yes, they do.
and they are living in glory that we cannot even begin to imagine.
Let me put it this way. In my grief group, I brought a cartoon the other day, or a poem. And the poem basically said this: what others see as a departure, that is those of us on this side of heaven, others see as an arrival. And the saints and loved ones and Jesus himself are gathered on that shore to meet you when your ship lands. That is a wonderful image that's fixed in my mind. What we see as leaving, others see as an arrival. And I just love that.
I do too.
I do. I love that. Roger, how much time we got?
As much time as you want, really. You can shut it now. You could go for a little bit, whatever you want to do.
All right. You want to say anything else?
No, I don't think so. I
Okay.
think we're good today. I think maybe, today is a good day for us to remember people who have gone ahead of us. And I tell you, I think it's really important for parents to tell their children, and for grandparents to tell their children about the others who have
Yes,
gone on. Maybe
yes.
people they have
Yes.
not met. I could still remember the countless stories that my grandmother told me about her husband and my grandfather and others who have gone on. And that's how we keep our history. That's how we learn to know the saints. So I would encourage all of you today to tell your children about your parents, and others you have loved who have gone on before you, and how they've influenced you in life. And here comes Father Fang for his second sermon.
That's a very important form of evangelism, sharing those stories,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just want to have a shout out to Joe. He's not with us this morning. He's down at Fripp Island.
Poor
doing
thing.
Evangelism.
Yeah,
down
I'm
there.
sure. On the golf course.
And those that do not repent and turn to the Lord Jesus, he cooks and eats. Okay? So maybe there is a real evangelism strategy there for us, at least with shrimp, right?
Does that return or burn? Is that what
Maybe so, maybe so.
Well, folks, we thank you for being with us on this very special day. I agree with Bunny. Bunny said something that's terribly important. Teach your children about the saints of your family. Don't let them go into their generations with no knowledge of their past, because we're all built on that. So, Bunny, let's do a blessing together. May God bless you and keep you this day and forever. Amen.